Hi, today we are going to practice dividing 4-digit dividends by 1-digit dividers using the area model. So maybe write down in your notebook, area model as your title, and then write down this problem, 4,335 divided by 5. Let's set up our area model for this problem. I'm going to put my 5 on the side, and I'm going to put 4,335 up in the top left corner, or on the 3rd floor. And I'm going to ask myself, if I have 4,335 of something, and I want to put them into 5 groups, what number can I start with? I always look at these first 2 digits to give me an idea of what a good number to start with is. And I know that 8 times 5 is 40. So if I'm thinking about place value, I know that 800 times 5 would be 4,000. And that is really close to 4,335. So I'm going to write it over here. 5 times 800 equals 4,000. So you can see where my thinking came from. I'm going to put my 800 on the top, because that's what I'm multiplying it by. And then I'm going to put 4,000 underneath and subtract to see how much I have left that I need to get rid of. So when I subtract that, 335. So that was a big amount that I got rid of. So I'm going to move my 335 to the top. Again, I'm going to look at those first 2 digits. And I'm going to think to myself, okay, 33 is really close to 30. That's a multiple of 5. And I know that 5 times 6 equals 30, which tells me that 5 times 60 equals 300. And that's as close as I'm going to get with a multiple of 10 to this. So I'm going to put my 60 on top, because again, that's the number I'm multiplying by. And then when I do 60 times 5, I get 300. I'm going to subtract there, and I get 35. And I like that one because that is a perfect fact, because I actually know that 5 times 7 is exactly 35. So my 7 is going to go on the top. 7 times 5 is 35. To subtract, and I get 0. So I look, and my answer, I have to add these numbers up, 867. Why don't you pause the video and check that in your notebook. All right, let's go on to the next problem. So set that up in your notebook, 2,672 divided by 4. And we'll put that into our area model. I'm going to put my 4 on the side, and then my 2,672 in the top left-hand corner. Again, I'm going to look at those first 2 digits just to kind of help me make my educated guess about our large number we're going to start with. And if I had 2,672 of something, putting them into 4 groups, I know that 4 times 6 is 24. Which would mean 4 times 60 is 240, and 4 times 600, if I box my zeros, is 2,400, which is very close to 2,672. So my number on top is going to be 600. I'm going to multiply that 600 times 4, and I get 2,400. I'm going to subtract those numbers right there. I get 272. Okay, so let's bring that up. If you want to pause the video and you give the next part a try, I'm going to continue, and then we can compare answers. Okay, so now I'm thinking about that. Those first 2 digits are 27. And again, that's really close to what I just did. So I'm going to do the same thing, only instead of 600, because now we have 1 less place, I'm going to do 60. and get that 240 that I was talking about before. So I'm going to put my 60 up here, my 240 here, I subtract, and I get 32. So right away I can see I'm going to have a remainder because 32 divided by 4 is not going to work perfectly. Yes, it is going to work. I'm thinking about 6. Sorry about that. It is a perfect fact. Beautiful. 4 times 8 is 32. Fantastic. So I'm going to put my 32 up here, put my 8 up here, subtract, I get 0. That means I have no remainder. Add up my numbers, 668. Again, why don't you pause the video, check that in your notebook, and let's hope we got it right. All right, let's do one more together, and then I will give you some problems on your own. Okay, so we'll set it up again. Our 3, our divisor is going on the side, and our 1,908 is going in the top left corner. Now this one I can tell right away, it's going to be a lower number. So I'm going to think about that 19. How many times does 3 go into 19? So I know that 3 times 6 equals 18. 3 times 60 equals 180. 3 times 600 equals 1,800. So I'm going to put 600 on the top, just like the last problem. I'm going to do my subtraction. That one was very close. I'm going to have left over 108, which is great. All right, thinking about my 3's, I know that 3 times 30 is 90. And then I know that 3 times 40 would be 120. That's too big, so 30 works. So I'm going to put my 30 up here, put my 90 down here, subtract, I know that's going to become my 10, 18. Another one of those perfect facts. So 3 times 6 equals 18. So I'm going to put my 6. 3 times 6 equals 18. There we go, 8. No remainder. I'm going to add up my numbers, and I get 636. Again, pause the video, multiply, make sure we got the answers right. All right, I'm going to have you try these two on your own. However, I just want you to notice that with this problem, we haven't done one like this, where if you look at the first number, if I'm dividing 3,000 divided by 2, I can actually go really big here, right? I can do 1,000 on the top. So that's my starting point for you. So pause the video, copy these two problems down, solve them in your notebook, and then you can play back the video and see if you got them right. All right, so our first problem, 3,756. Yours might look a little different, but I chose to do the numbers 1,870 and 8, and I got 1,878 as my answer. And then for the second problem, I did 5,832 divided by 6, and I chose 970 and 2 as my partial quotients, and my answer came to 972. So if you have any questions, you can go back and look at the numbers I chose and see if we have any different numbers, and we can check our work that way. Or you can multiply and see if you get the original dividend. All right, great job using the area model.